Good morning, good day, good evening. I am, as always, your host, Brody Robertson, and today we are back for episode 103 of Tech of a T. And I was doing some research for the podcast earlier, and I realized I hadn't checked my emails probably in like 3 or 4 days. Occasionally I'll forget to do them, so if you ever send me something and I don't respond, that's either the thing or I just didn't feel like responding. But generally, it's because I I just forgot to look at my emails. So I was looking at the emails, and a couple of these things I've talked about, I think on stream, and maybe I've talked about on the Discord as well. But one of them really stood out. So there was this one here. I can't show you it because it's in my Thunderbird client. I don't have that like loaded up in my overlay, but the subject of it is in Dutch. I don't know how to read. I don't know how to read Dutch, so don't ask me to read it. But chucking it into Google Translate, it says receipt confirmation. Now, it's not a receipt. This person is basically just trying to scam me out of money. Not in like a subtle way or anything, like very blatantly a scam. So, starts off by saying, Beste, I'm guessing that's hi or something in Dutch. I don't know. Beste. I got no idea. Someone who knows Dutch, let me know. I am sorry to inform you, but your device was hacked. Well, that's fairly inconvenient. So keep in mind also this was sent on the 14th, and I'm recording this on the 16th. So that's what happened. Is that what happened, hey? Well, I guess you've said it happened, so it must have happened. I have used a 0-click vulnerability with a special code to hack your device through a website. What website? Well, I don't know, just a website. Some website. Not too important. It is a complicated software that requires precise skills that I possess. Well, you know what? You've convinced me, man. Clearly you've hacked me, so what's gonna happen here? So this exploit works in a chain with a specially crafted unique code, just singular code, like a one line of code. There's nothing more than that, just a singular code. Okay, sure. And such type of attack goes undetected. Well, that's really inconvenient then. You only had to visit a website to be infected, and unfortunately for you, it's that simple for me. You were not targeted. Well, you know what? That makes me feel slightly better. If I'm not targeted, then I guess nothing's wrong. But just became one of the many unlucky people who got hacked through my webpage. Well, that's less convenient then. All of this happened in August. Now, for the record, I'm recording this in February of 2022. So they're saying this happened at the earliest. I presume they mean August last year. August 2021. So why did you wait all of this time to send me this email telling me that you've hacked all my data? I don't know. I got no idea. So I've had enough time to collect the information. You and I understand how damaging this will be to you. Do I? You didn't tell me what you have on me. It's not that much money to keep your privacy. Well, I've been doxxed before already, so like What privacy are you fucking taking, my man? I don't care about you personally. That's why you can be sure that all files I have and software on your device will be deleted immediately after I receive the transfer. I only care about getting paid. Clearly, I don't care about you. So that means that if you send me the money, I won't keep asking for more money. Because that is a logical strategy. No, it's not like, if this actually was real, you would just keep demanding more money like you see in a lot of the ransomware attacks where, sure, a lot of them do actually unlock the system if you give them the money. Other ones are like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not doing that. Let's see. So where we're up to. My modest consulting fee is $1,700 US. Why is it a consulting fee now? You're not consulting anything. You're just deleting files. What do you mean consulting? This is to be transferred in Bitcoin. Well, that makes sense. Bitcoin, clearly a very private coin. Definitely. this is 1700 exchange rate at the time of the transfer. You need to send that amount to this wallet, and we'll have a look at that wallet in just a moment. The fee is non-negotiable to be transferred within 2 business days. Now, here's the important thing. So Monday, the 14th was a Monday. So you say within 2 business days. You sent it on a Monday. There are no non-business days within 2 days of Monday. Your scam's not even consistent. If you're gonna send out a template like this, at least modify it based on when you send it. Obviously, do not try to ask for help from law enforcement unless you want your privacy to be violated. You've already got my... If this was real, you already have my data. What are you talking about? Why would I not go... Why would I not go to the law enforcement then? I will monitor your every move until I get paid. I don't know how you're going to monitor my every move. I don't have my computer on all the time. Are you saying that you can monitor everything I do when I'm not at my computer? Did it, like, hack my phone as well? And then whenever I take my phone with me, that's gonna track me? Do you have a private investigator going after me? Like, what are you talking about? If you keep your end of the agreement, you won't hear from me ever again. Take care and good day. Then there is a message outro in Dutch. It's something like, please get in contact something like that. Sincerely, and then Leonie Boxen. And I don't know Dutch. Is that a real name? Is that a real name at all? Leonie Boxen. Is that like a name that makes any sense as a name? I'm seeing people referred to as Leonie Boxen. So I guess it's a fake name, but it's a real fake name. It's a fake name that follows the structure of a real name. Zero-click also, I should have been able to show you this, but they've got zero-click vulnerability, not highlighted, capitalized as well, just to make sure that you know it is a zero-click vulnerability. Let's see, so zero-click vulnerability, and then email scam shows up if you put this into, now it's gone. Why I had this working, into Google. That's because I'm on the, oh no, this is the right one. Google, here we go. There you go. Zero-click vulnerability email scan. Let's see what other people are saying about it. Let's see if we can see let's see what other people are sending a similar email. Wait, is this just a copy-pasta email? Did they not even put effort into their template? I'm sorry to inform you, but your device was hacked. Oh, they did forget to format it, though. So there is that. Yeah, I think it happened in August. Yeah, they literally just used a fucking copy pasta. They did, did they used a copy pasta, but they wrote it out because they've got mistakes in it. I've been waiting enough and have decided that it's time to put an end to this. Here is my offer. Let's name this a consulting fee. I need to get so I can delete the media content I've been collecting. Where is it? My modest consulting fee is $1,700. So yeah, you actually, like, copied it, but then added grammatical errors into it. Maybe they changed it, so you can't literally just copy and paste the email and stick it into Google. That's probably why. Yeah, that's probably why they changed it. I can't see... Or maybe they also changed it because they're clearly going after a Dutch audience as well, even though I'm not Dutch at all, and no part of my name indicates that I am Dutch. It seems weird that you would use a Dutch, like your default, or your scam you would go would be a Dutch scam, unless you, like, know the person is actually Dutch. Like, it seems like a safer bet, because it's in Dutch and English. That's the weird thing. If it was all in Dutch, that would be one thing. If it was all in English, that would be another. Why is it in both? I don't get it. I really don't. And there are so many people thinking this is real, and I love it. I genuinely adore this. I thought this would have been like a new copy pasta, but no, it seems like it's been going on at least since this specific scam, at least since 2021. I don't know if it's going back longer than that. The earliest I'm finding is 2021. But zero-click vulnerability... okay, so a zero-click vulnerability technically isn't a fake thing, right? Like, that is a thing that could theoretically be done under the correct circumstances with a sufficiently out-of-date browser. But this is the sort of thing where, if you're keeping your stuff up to date, you're generally going to be fine. Also, also, the other thing is they never mention, you know, what operating system on or anything actually important. This actually goes back into the thing I talked about last week. If you see, like, a family member mention something like this, always talk to them about it. Make sure they know that, like, what this is. Especially when it's something like this. Like, if I didn't know what I was talking about, if I didn't know about tech or anything like that, this is something I could very easily see and think that, yeah, I had been hacked. But knowing how how scams like this actually function, it's pretty straightforward to work it out yourself. But there is a lot of people out there who don't have that knowledge and who would very easily fall for something like this. In this case, though, let's take this wallet address. So I'll bring up a Bitcoin blockchain viewer. Bitcoin. Let's just look up Bitcoin wallet lookup. And what we're gonna see, here is a Bitcoin address. That didn't search it. There we go. Here is the address. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it, and there's never been a single transaction. So, one of two things happened. Firstly, this person sent out this email to a bunch of people, and because this is very evidently a scam email, most email providers have some method to examine things like this and work out that it should be instantly sent to spam. Especially when things like a Bitcoin wallet address are included. Stuff like that usually doesn't get through spam filters. I don't know why it got through mine, because I use Gmail and I would expect Gmail to be able to deal with something like this fairly easily. But we got it, so it is what it is. So either that, or for whatever reason, maybe the other thing is that they're using a different wallet address for each email being sent out. It's really easy to spin up a new Bitcoin wallet, so doing that, especially if you're trying to scam people, you're trying to actually, you know, do something illegal, is something that would be fairly easy to do. I actually want to check that other address we saw on that other incident of the email. Let's see if that one actually had any money inside of it. Or, I guess, not had any money inside of it. By now, it would be, because that one was from September. But had any money transact through it. Bitcoin wallet lookup. Let's see. Blockchain Explorer. Let's see. And is BTC address. Okay, this one that we saw in that email did have some money going into it, I see. So someone sent them 0.29... Okay, yeah. So converted to today's currency is $1,200. Oh my god, and I'm gonna assume that, yeah, they're sending it out in a bunch of different transactions. Oh, wait, this one had a bunch of others. Wait, what? Did they have more in there? This address has transacted 2 times. Oh, no, I'm just misunderstanding how the blockchain works. So, yeah, they've had this much go in and this much go out. So, they didn't even get all the money they wanted because... Wait, how much is Bitcoin worth? I'm pretty sure, even if this was at the peak of Bitcoin... Bitcoin chart. Let's see. That still wouldn't have been the... Was it... Oh, no, it actually would have been. No, it would have been. Sorry, I thought it said 6,000, not 1650. Yeah, at the peak of Bitcoin, that would have been roughly 1650, wouldn't it? That makes sense. So yeah, at least one person has fallen for this scam, that is sad to see. And as I mentioned, make sure that if a scam like this happens, or if you know someone who a scam like this happens to, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on that person. Make sure they know, if like they're a family member or anything, make sure they know what's actually going on and don't do something stupid. I kind of want to see where this money goes. Do they do something sensible here? Yeah, let's see. Okay, yeah, they do. They spew it out to a bunch of different addresses, so they probably at least I think that's how that's going down. My assumption is they probably chuck it through something like Tornado Cash to get the money out without, you know, being tracked and all that fun stuff. All of that fun stuff that, you know, legal departments aim to do, at least in some capacity. But holy shit, the state of the crypto market or just state of crypto in general and NFTs, it's not great. I don't want to. Do I want to get into NFTs straight away? Do I want to do that, or do we hold it off for later? I might hold it off for later and then talk about it at the end, rather than just making the first half an hour of the show nothing but crypto. Let's talk about something actually positive. So this is about the Steam Deck. So I know Valve has talked about how they want to make sure the Steam Deck is to some extent repairable. They don't want to make it like, you know, a Switch or something like that where it's a locked... I don't know how repairable the Switch is, but Nintendo certainly doesn't go out of their way to make it more repairable. You might be able to get parts for it. Maybe like an iPhone is a better example. Like Apple specifically goes out of their way to make it harder to repair. But Valve has basically said they want to help out. One of the things they did, which I didn't expect them to do, is release the CAD files for the Steam Deck. So you can literally print a shell for a Steam Deck. That is really cool. And it's not just the it's not just the shell they have available. They have some other design docs as well. It's all on their GitLab, which is a weird place to store them, but hey, it works. There's this PDF here as well that includes some like how the system is actually structured, like what each of the components on the shell actually are. I would certainly love to see schematics for the internals. Sorry, I did zoom in so I could see it. If I zoom in like this, yeah, there we go. I would love to see schematics of the internals, but like this is at least one thing. This makes it actually really easy for third-party companies to like build custom shells. Like I think I talked about this the other week. I might not have, but Dbrand, like right now, has a skin for the Steam Deck, and things like this are gonna make it so obviously not, you know, making full-on custom shells. Like that's not a thing that most people are gonna do, because some components in the Steam Deck are not easy to get out. The battery being one. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But this design document, the CAD models, make it really easy to make accessories specifically with the Steam Deck in mind. Make like a dock that specifically holds the Steam Deck. Make custom grips or anything like that. All of that stuff, having these design drawings makes that incredibly easy to do. Plus, if someone wanted to go and put it into a custom shell or anything like that, this makes it so something like that actually would be viable in some way. You wouldn't have to, like, completely work from the ground up. It wouldn't be great, but it's something. So you can go and download these now. You can go and 3D print a Steam Deck shell if you want to, and just, I don't know, show off a Steam Deck that has nothing inside of it, if that's what you want to do. Yeah, I think it's cool. Apparently, they done the same thing with, the Index controllers, I want to say. Someone was telling me about this. Valve Index controller CAD, I think we look up. Yeah, Valve released 3D models for the Index VR. Oh, for the headset, is it for the controllers as well? Yeah, it's for the controllers as well. Yeah, so Valve isn't opposed to doing this on various of their projects. I think that's really, really cool. The question is sort of how the device is going to be supported after launch with hardware, not hardware availability, component availability is a better way to put it. So obviously you've got LTT that did a teardown. You had Gamers Nexus, I want to say, did a teardown. I could be mistaken on that one. Yeah, it was Gamers Nexus. Cool. And now iFixit has done a teardown. And obviously, being iFixit, they've done a more in-depth teardown, sort of going over sort of everything that's inside of it, explaining how you would tear it down, all of that fun stuff, talking about the challenges that it does have to do, talking about some of the really cool things it has, like the way there's a image here about the way the touchpads work. They work through, let's see. There's some unusual springs that give the touchpad some physical clickability, and the wires that power the touchpads atop each stick, which can let you activate gyro aiming in games without taking your thumbs off the sticks. That's pretty neat. Yeah, that's actually really cool. But yeah, there's a lot of like weird design decisions about the Steam Deck to fit it into a sort of system this size. But the biggest problem with the Steam Deck, and this is the problem that everyone tearing it down seems to be saying, is the battery. Most other thing, the battery and the screen. Those are the two things that are sort of not great. So iFixit says, battery replacement definitely seems to be the Steam Deck's Achilles heel. From my understanding, it's either adhesive or glued in. Basically, it's really difficult to get off. Also, the battery is located in a location where it effectively attaches to the screen. You're not directly to the screen, but your only leverage on the battery is against the screen. And that's not good. That's a really bad position to be in. I don't know how they could have handled the battery better. I'm not an engineer. I imagine you could have had some sort of pull tab system like you have, with the command strips, and then, cell replacements for those or something like that. That would only be a minor amount of extra space, but it is what it is. The other problem that seems to be there is with the screen itself. There's a mention of it here. The screen has a bit of adhesive that'll mean you need to be careful of heat and suction cups, and the battery looks even harder to dislodge. So yeah, the screen is also a problem. But I believe the thumbsticks. Do you mention the thumbsticks? It takes 3 screws to replace the thumbsticks. And sure, the screen is something you'd want to be able to fix in the case of dropping the device and cracking the screen, or more likely, scratching the screen with something or something like that. But the thumbsticks are probably the thing, assuming regular usage and not damaging the device, that's probably going to go. That, and is there mention of the buttons? There's no mention of the buttons, but I imagine they come in a grid array similar to the way judging by the back here, they seem to be handled in a similar way to the thumbstick. So it looks like it's 3 screws and a wire. Yeah, 3 screws and a wire. So not that much harder. I don't know if that wire is sorted in. I hope it's not. But if it is, it's only a minor issue. But replacing the thumbsticks takes 3 screws, which is really, really cool to see. I'm really happy with the state the Steam Deck's in. I'm still in the camp that's saying that Valve is planning to release a big list of games prior to the Steam Deck coming out, because right now the list has gone up. Now the list is at 500 titles. This is 500 playable or verified. And that's, really, really great. I actually appreciate that. But they've said thousands have been tested, and if we look at SteamDB right now, we're still going to see there's not thousands of games on the list. SteamDB, let's see. Steam Deck okay, so total, their list is at roughly 750. Give or take, maybe 800. Give or take a little bit. Roughly 800. This is still not thousands of tested games. It's getting closer to a singular thousand, but thousands usually implies multiple thousands, so at least two of them. And the Steam Deck is just right around the corner, so I'm still of the mindset that when the Steam Deck drops, there's going to be a list of like 1,000 games dropped, and all of the media outlets are going to start talking about it, being like, 2,000 games work on the Steam Deck, and it's going to be really good for marketing, and people are in the second batch going to want to pre-order their Steam Deck, all of that fun stuff. Maybe for the Steam Deck pre-orders down the line, those are going to pick up as well. There's plenty of reasons why Valve would go about doing this. Is it possible they're not? Without a doubt. But I think it's still very possible. The top 10 list on ProtonDB, it looks slightly better than it did before, I guess, but like New World has just been replaced with Lost Ark, and Lost Ark is at the top. So that's fun. It's really cool to see a game that's not a FPS that's at the top of this list, though. It's been certainly a while. By a while, I mean, I don't think it's ever happened, because usually Counter-Strike goes at the top. But right now, Lost Ark is. Lost Ark has been doing, like, really, really well recently. Like, I didn't know how it was going to do. I don't think anyone really knew how well Lost Ark was actually going to do. But, okay, if you don't know what Lost Ark is a Korean MMO that just received a Korean free-to-play MMO, to be specific, that just received its Western release. It's been around for a couple of years, so unlike something like New World, for example, Lost Ark is a known entity. People knew what Lost Ark was going to be, people knew it had content, and people were very excited for it. Lost Ark it's basically a ARPG like Diablo or Path of Exile, like that style of gameplay, that style of combat, in the form of an MMO. It's not strictly an ARPG, but it has the ARPG method of gameplay. And I'll check these Steam charts, because I don't know what it's doing right now. I know, unlike New World, though, this game has been, like, doing really well. It is down right now, but granted, this is not a good time for the US player base. And this is, it's down within its reasonable numbers. So peak is, yeah, it seems to be hitting roughly the same peak every day. So here we go. We are on Wednesday right now. Oh, I thought it was going to come back down after the weekend. Was that the global launch? Give me 1 second. When did the game go public? Because there was the founders pack that you could get, and you could play the game a week early, and there was the then full release. Public release. What was the date? Okay, that's why. That is why. Cool. So basically, this was the founders release. There was 500,000 people on every single day at peak. That, for a new game, is quite big and quite impressive. Then we had a drop right here. This was when the servers went out. I think a lot of servers went out because they were doing some maintenance or something like that to get ready for the actual full release. So there were still some servers online. It seems they had 40,000 players online, but these charts might just be slightly inaccurate. Or they might have done the updates in batches. Doesn't matter. Either way, then the full release happened, and it hit 980,000. The next day, it hits 1.3 million. Next day, 1.3 million. Next day, 1.1. Next day, 1.1. Granted, these peak days here, these were weekend days. So the 1.3s were weekends, and then during the week, we're sitting around 1.1 million people. That is fucking insane. Now, I don't know whether the hype for Lost Ark is going to survive. Right now, this is probably it. Long term is what usually matters for an MMO, but right now I think Lost Ark actually is the most played MMO in the world. Unless you count Roblox, which some people do. I don't count Roblox as an MMO. WoW, potentially, you could argue, but WoW isn't very open about its numbers. But Lost Ark is easily in like the top 3 most played MMOs right now, and that's crazy. It is a free-to-play MMO though. And being a free-to-play MMO, it does have certain mechanics that some people deem as pay-to-win. So being a Korean MMO, I've played Korean MMOs before in the past, and they all have a very similar theme. There is a lot of grinding. Now, the benefit that Lost Ark has is Lost Ark has a lot of content. So it's grinding with a lot of content. It's not like you're grinding, 3 dungeons, for example. You've got a game that's been around for 3 years at this point, and you've got all of that, most of that content. I think the highest tier content isn't in the Western version yet. So it's a matter of time to see how this game is going to play out in the long run. I think it's entirely possible that Lost Ark ends up being like one of the games we consider is like a big MMO. I think it's entirely possible that Lost Ark sticks around. I don't think it's absolutely certain, but I do think that there is. Yeah, here we go. Here's Steam charts, basically showing SteamDB showing basically the same thing. I do think it's absolutely possible. Now, the Twitch viewers, this is something that's going to die down over time, because that always happens with the game. Like at launch, it's always way bigger than any other time in its history. And then over time, it goes down and all that fun stuff. But I don't know how quickly it's going to go down, and I don't know it's going to stick around. I hope it does, because I do kind of want to play it. There's been some people on the Lost Ark forums actually asking for Proton support. Now, people were asking back in the New World case for Proton support, and that just never happened. Now, in the case of New World, I can forgive that one, because New World released and was not a good game. New World released and crunch didn't end. New World released and they kept fucking working because the game shouldn't have been released. Lost Ark, though, was a translation effort, and that's basically it. It's not like they were building a game from the ground up. You had to localize this one. You had to make sure, text and stuff was good. You had to tweak some stuff for the Western release, but not like you're not building systems from the ground up. Like, the gameplay systems are already there. The dungeons are already there. All of that fun stuff. You're just localizing it for a Western audience. So I think it's much more likely that Lost Ark, in a timely manner, could see Proton support being enabled. And there's been, so far, 341 people in this thread basically being like, yo, can you, do this? I would love to play this game. I would love to play this game. Make it happen. Make it happen. Make it happen. And yeah, I fully agree. I would love to play this game. I don't know if it's going to be a game that sticks around, but I at least want to give it a shot and see what happens. They have been making updates to the game, and apparently they've made updates to the anti-cheat as well, and it's not updated the game the way people wanted. Well, I've been checking SteamDB like a dope fiend, and saw there was a file change in Easy Anti-Cheat folder and got excited for a second, but it's not the file we need. There was probably some issue, they had with the way the EAC was working on the Windows version, all that fun stuff. That's probably why they changed it. But yeah, I think if you care at all about playing Lost Ark, then put your support in for this. Show them that, yeah, you want to play this game, and there is an audience, even if it is a small audience, over on the Linux side. Because sure, that no one's asking them to make a Linux version. Like, that would be obviously something a little bit different. That would be a massive bit of work to do. But just not stopping people playing the game would be enough to make a lot of people who are really excited to play it go and actually play it. Me being one of them. As much as I love 14, and I have no plan to stop playing 14, Lost Ark seems like another good game that's worth my time. But speaking of 14, I've been doing something I didn't expect to be doing. So I said I was going to go and play through the rest of ARR, A Realm Reborn, and then probably into Heaven's Ward playing as a summoner. Now, I kind of didn't do that. So right now, I think I'm up to, I want to say 2.2? FF14 MSQ. I just defeated Leviathan. Yeah, so I'm at the end of 2.2. I don't want to give any spoilers about anything else happening, but yeah, that's where we're at. So I started playing healer just because I was leveling it as like a side thing when I was playing with one of my mates, and then I just kept leveling healer, and now I have a white mage at level 50. And white mage is an interesting job. I can totally see why people say it has an MP issue. Even at 50, it fucking has an MP issue. As a summoner, I never have to worry about MP. As a summoner, the MP gauge might as well not exist because it doesn't run out. White mage, on the other hand, there are times where if you're not popping your, what's it called? Not Calm Mind, is it? FF14, White Mage. What is the ability that regens your MP at a quicker rate? Give me 1 second. It is... Where is it? Lucid Dreaming. Why did I say Calm Mind? Calm Mind is a Pokemon move. Lucid Dreaming to regen your MP. Make sure you pop your Lucid Dreaming when you get Lucid Dreaming, because otherwise you will fucking run out of MP, and it's not good. Yeah, even at 50, this is a problem, and I don't have some of the the big spells that do cost, a bit more that you get later, like, actually, I have Medica 2. I guess I do have them. Actually, I thought there were other spells that would cost more. No, okay, I guess I'm mistaken. Either way, I still find my MP occasionally dropping down into, like, the 4,000, 5,000 range, which is enough. It's plenty. But when you have a tank that's pulling fairly quickly, the numbers they're not happy. The numbers are not very happy. Maybe the other healers are a little bit nicer in that regard. But White Mage, okay, so the fun thing about White Mage is, if you do not want to think, White Mage is a fucking great healer. What I mean by this is, you could just chuck a fucking regen on your tank, and then you just spam your whatever your damage spell is, depending on your level. Right now I have Stone 2. Later on that becomes Glare. Later on that becomes Glare is the latest? No, Glare 3 is the highest one. Anyway, at some point you start spamming Glare. But yeah, you just really don't have to heal. Obviously, below the regen level, which is 35, you do have to heal a little bit. But, if you have a tank that's doing their job properly, generally healing's not super important. Especially now that a lot of the tanks just fucking heal themselves. Except Dark Knight. So, luckily I haven't had to deal with a Dark Knight yet in, any remotely high-level content. But a warrior... I see why no one fucking heals tanks. Because if you think everybody is a warrior, then you don't have to heal them, because they just heal themselves. But the other thing about White Mage, at least, the other healers are a little bit different, but White Mage, there are three buttons that matter when you're not healing. You have your damage button, you have your AoE damage button, and you have your damage over time damage button. And that is all. Combos are not real. There is some stuff like, you know, your Blood Lily and all that fun stuff, but Glare is literally more powerful than using your Blood Lily. So unless you're using the Blood Lily to, I guess, to like maintain your MP, that's pretty much the only reason why you would use it. Yeah. Pretty much it, actually. But White Mage is fun. It's fun because I get to turn my brain off. I just have to look at the HP gauges and just, you know, keep you guys alive, roughly. There was one. Actually, I got a really funny story about playing healer. So I was queued up as a healer. I had a, what is the base class to a scholar? What is the base class called? Arcanist? FF14 Arcanist. Yeah, that one, Arcanist. So as an Arcanist, you are a DPS. Because Arcanist is effectively still a summoner. So obviously Arcanist splits off into summoner and also scholar, but yeah, it's literally got the summoner abilities and not a single scholar ability. It's a really weird job. I don't know why it's structured like that, but it is what it is. So yeah, I had this Arcanist with me, and Arcanist is a DPS, because Arcanist is a summoner. Now, because it's a summoner, it has one heal. It has a heal and it has a res. Now, I was going through the dungeon playing my White Mage, and I noticed that the tank wasn't losing health at all. And then I spot, and I hear the little cure chime, and I realize that my Arcanist thinks that it's the healer. It's just using its heal rather than worrying about DPS. And I don't know why. This was a 4-man dungeon. This wasn't like, you know, an 8-man and maybe heals were lacking or anything like that. It was a 4-man dungeon, and he just sat there healing the tank. Like, mate, that's literally my job. What are you doing? So instead of healing, I was just, you know what? I'm just gonna be a DPS now. I'm just gonna spam Stone 2 and use my my damage spells and just not worry about it, basically. I do want to try out other healers. My idea right now, because some queues are not great, I'm gonna play the regular content as a summoner, because I like summoner, and summoner is fun. And I will try to play the dungeons as a summoner, but I don't like queues, and nobody plays a healer. So when you play a healer, it's very easy to queue, even in things that are not very high population. Like going through Leviathan, Hall Leader, I waited like 20 minutes as a DPS. I queue up as a healer. 5 minutes later, the queue pops. It's like, okay, I see how it is. But that's the plan. I do eventually want to play Sage when I get up to Endwalker, and I will play Reaper, and I'm going to play every job, so like, no worry about that. But yeah, right now, I'm just using my healer as like an extra thing. I kind of want, I don't know if I'm going to get to Heaven's Ward this weekend. I kind of want to, though, because there's not a ton left in A Realm Reborn. So, obviously, we have patch 2.3 Defenders of Eorzea. We have 2.4 Dreams of Ice, 2.5 Before the Fall, 2.55 Before the Fall Part 2. And then we have Heaven's Ward starting. So, you know, there's 4 patches worth of content, and it's only like, let's just say 30 MSQ quests or something like that. And not all of them are going to be long quests. So I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to try to rush to get to Heaven's Ward like as quickly as possible. But hey, I will be very happy to get to Heaven's Ward when it does happen, because I keep hearing that Heaven's Ward is, if not the best, very close to the best expansion. Some people say Shadowbringers, some people say Heaven's Ward. I don't know who's correct, but one of them probably is. Or maybe it's Stormblood or Endwalker. I don't know. I did notice that the Sage job quest is actually in Limsa Laminza. And the funny thing is, I technically am very close to playing a Sage. I could actually go and play a Sage through Heaven's Ward if I wanted to, because my Paladin is at level 65. So if I got my Paladin to 70, I could actually go back. Like, I would obviously have to, like, level sync in many cases, but I could go back and play as both Reaper and Sage through Heaven's Ward, which I think, honestly, would be really, really cool, and I'm slightly tempted to do it. Maybe not Heaven's Ward, because I kind of want to play, like, I don't know, Gunbreaker or Dancer or something like that. Actually, what were the jobs for Heaven's Ward? I don't remember. I wasn't a Red Mage. I'm not going to play fucking Red Mage. I don't like Red Mage. Heaven's Ward. I haven't talked about why I don't like Red Mage. We'll talk about Red Mage in just a moment. Heaven's Ward jobs. I think it was Gunbreaker Red Mage. But Gunbreaker might be later. No, I'm completely wrong. I'm completely wrong. It's Dark Knight, Machinist, Astrologian. Wait, Red Mage was Stormblood. Sorry, my Red Mage was Stormblood. Yes. Stormblood jobs. Yeah. No, yes, it was. Okay. And then Shadowbringers. Wait, no. This is a hot. Wait, am I reading that wrong? Okay, here we go. Better list. So Heaven's Ward, Dark Knight, Machinist, Astrologian, Stormblood, Samurai, Red Mage. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Shadowbringers, Gunbreaker, Dancer, and then Endwalker, Reaper, Sage. Right. Oh, no, that's why I got confused. Okay, that makes sense. So the reason I got confused is because Red Mage starts at 50. So after Shadowbringers, it starts 10 levels under the expansion. 10 levels? Yeah, 10 levels under the starting level of the expansion. So I guess that still technically is the case in Stormblood. Because Stormblood would end at 70. Yeah, Stormblood would end at 70. So 10 levels under the start of the expansion would put Samurai at 50. And there's no point starting you at level 40, so Heaven's Ward also starts you at 50 as well. Right. Makes sense. And I'm very happy that after Heaven's Ward, all of the jobs start in, cities that everybody can get to. So if you do happen to level up to 70 as in A Realm Reborn, because XP in Oceania is fucking broken right now, it's pretty easy to go and join it. So Reaper is in Uldar, and then Sage is in Limsa. I think, what jobs have I not unlocked yet? Obviously, I've not unlocked any of the Heaven's Ward jobs. I think I've unlocked all of the... No, on my main character, I haven't unlocked Marauder yet, or Rogue. Yeah, neither of those I've unlocked. I did unlock Blue Mage. I haven't played much of Blue Mage, but I'll get around to Blue Mage at some point. Samurai I've unlocked. Red Mage I've unlocked. I should go and unlock Gunbreaker and Dancer. Gunbreaker seems like a fun tank, and Dancer seems like a fun physical range DPS. I enjoyed playing as a bard, so I'm probably gonna end up enjoying any of the physical range DPS like the Machinist and the Dancer. But yeah, all the jobs are fun for the most part, right? Except Red Mage and Samurai. Okay, so I get that some people like main Red Mage and Samurai, and that's cool, do whatever you want. That's less Red Mage and Samurai that I need to play. So, my problem with Samurai is there's not really... maybe it changes... Like, here's the thing. I keep hearing that Red Mage and Samurai get better when you get closer to the higher levels. But at 50, Red Mage... we'll start with Samurai. At 50, Samurai feels really boring. It's like, do your rotation, and that's it. It doesn't really have many off GCDs. Like, it has a couple of them, but a lot of them you just pop when they appear, and some of them, they just make your GCD, your GCD easy to pull off. So you go through your rotation as a Samurai, you build up your, whatever the hell they're called, your not key. No, that's a monk. What are they called? What the hell are they called? See, this is bad content. FF14. What the fuck's the gauge called? I don't remember what the gauge is called. Samurai. Here we go. Samurai. This is how little I play Samurai as well. I played it level 50. I was like, I don't like this, and I stopped playing it. The fuck is it called? Gauge. If we just look up gauge, job mechanics, the Sen gauge. There we go. So you build these. You build up these three thingies. These three symbols, these three sen, whatever the hell they're called, Setsu, Getsu, and Ka. And then Fuka and all those other things like different buffs and stuff. And then you can use different forms of basically your finisher attack. And that attack is... where is the attack? Yeah, Hisatsu Kaiten, Hisatsu Gyoten, and Hisatsu... No, that's the higher level. Shit, what is it called? It was the lower level one. Where is it? I don't know. Something in here. Doesn't really matter. Basically, you fill up this gauge, or you fill up the gauge to the point you want, and then you unleash a special attack. But the problem is... Here we go. Is this it? No. Where's... Is this it? Wait. Higambana... It was part of Iai Jutsu. Of course it is. Yes, that makes more sense, Brody. What are you talking about? It is part of Iai Jutsu. So you use that and you have different forms of the attack. One of them's like an AoE. I think it's a cone AoE. One of them's like a big single target. One of them something else. And they have different like speeds they take to activate and all that fun stuff. But basically the idea with Samurai is you basically just use this combo. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 finisher, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 finisher, and that's all you do. That is all you do as a samurai. And sure, there's probably like things you get later on, all the fun stuff, but like this True North, I think is actually useless at 50. Like I don't actually think it does anything. I'm pretty sure there's no directionals as a samurai at 50. There might be, but I don't think there is. Yeah, here we go. And the other things here, like, oh, your second wind, you can heal yourself. That's great. Leg sweep, okay, cool. You can stun someone. But like, I don't know. I like jobs where your off GCDs aren't just make yourself do extra damage. I like off GCDs where they have some sort of like, hey, maybe it is a new attack, or maybe it's like it helps your party and things like that. And I'm not saying that I don't like selfish DPS. I like Black Mage. Black Mage is really fun. But Black Mage also, I feel like, has a more exciting rotation because you've got your Thunder you have to worry about, so you have to make sure you keep up that timer. Sometimes when you use Thunder, you get a bonus version of Thunder, which does all of the damage of Thunder at once, and then reapplies Thunder. When you're going through your regular fire combo of, at 50, it would be Fire 3, Fire until you run out of MP, then Blizzard 3, maybe you need to do another Blizzard because the game didn't update quick enough, then Fire 3, Fire, throw Thunders in there, and you're good to go. Then you'll have your Swift Cast and other fun stuff like that. I feel like at 50, as a selfish DPS, I'd much rather just play a Black Mage. Now, as for Red Mage, so Red Mage, the idea with that one is you are balancing two gauges. You've got your white gauge and your black gauge. The white mage, white gauge and black gauge. I want to say it's white gauge and black gauge. Was it red gauge? Wait, gauge. I forget. It's called the balance gauge. White gauge and blue gauge. Whatever. Oh, it is called black mana. The thing is just blue. Whatever. So it's white mana and black mana. I was right. So basically the idea is you want to keep these balanced, because if your white mana gets too high or your black mana gets too high, your damage is going to do less for the thing that is relevant to that mana. So the ways you balance your gauge is you have different kinds of attacks. So where is the... Oh, God, what the... Oh, I forgot I had that enabled. This is probably a bad way to look at this. Let's look at it over on this website. Red Mage. There we go. This is a Lala picture. I love that. That's great. So basically you've got your white mana-y abilities. Those are things like your arrow abilities and actually I think it's mainly arrow stuff. Yeah, it's mainly arrow stuff. Stone as well. So arrow and stone, like you would have on a white mage, they're just named differently. Then for your black mana stuff, you've got your fires, you've got thunder, and things like that. So that will raise up your black gauge. The other one will raise up your white gauge. Then you've got your jolts. Those will do both. Or jolt and scatter and all that fun stuff. Jolt is the single target. Scatter is the multi-target. And the idea is then once you've built up your gauge enough, then you want to unleash a melee combo. And then you have your riposte, your whatever the hell that says. And you can use these while they are not boosted up by your mana. But if you do that, then they'll do less damage. So the idea is you want to build up the gauge as quickly as possible, keeping the gauge balanced, and then swap back over to the melee attack, and then unleash that. I feel like it probably could be more fun at a higher level, but right now, I don't know, maybe it's just because there's, like, maybe my brain's not handling the balancing of two gauges. I'm perfectly fine, like, worrying about tons of shit going on, but for whatever reason, balancing two gauges just seems... It just, like... It feels off to me, something about it, I don't know. But I'm sure it's a fun job at a higher level. Like, people say Samurai's great at a high level as well, and I'm sure it is. And when I get up to Endwalker, maybe I will replay them and see what it's like. Or maybe when I get up to like Shadowbringers or something, I will give them another shot and actually like see what it's like at a high level. I have no harm in doing that. I'm eventually going to level every job to 90 anyway, or 100, or whatever the current level is when I get up to that point, and whatever expansion is out. But it is what it is. So I will enjoy it as we go, and play different jobs as we go as well. I want to talk about something else regarding Final Fantasy. So this is happening, or this was happening, this is happening. It's happening in some form on the Oceanic servers. So, about a week ago, I saw this really weird thing in the Party Finder, the Party Finder, which is a thing you use to find parties. Duty Finder does it automatically for you. And what this person was doing was selling pizza. Now, I was very confused, and I saw someone over in the Materia Discord mentioning the same thing, like, where would I advertise selling pizza? And people were like, wait, is this like RMT? Are you actually like selling pizza to people? Like, no, I'm just selling pizza in the game. So there is a pizza item in game, and yeah, you do whatever you want with it. It's food. Food is good. Food gives you bonus XP. All that fun stuff. But this person was doing it for RP stuff. So they had a thing there where they would deliver pizza to you for 10,000 gil, and you would be delivered the pizza by this cat girl. And I was honestly not expecting PC Gamer to write an article about this, but hey, now the world gets to see some of the weird shit that's going on Materia. This is a fucking strange data center, because everyone is like, you know what? Game masters don't exist. Moderators don't exist. We're just gonna do whatever the fuck we want. Because that's honestly how it feels right now. It honestly feels like there are no GMs, and they're just letting materia play out however they want. And there's also a website for pizza time as well. So Catharsis Cutter Hero. Some dumb Mikote had the dumb idea back in 5.4 to make a pizza delivery service in Eorzea. Well, pizza wasn't in Eorzea at the time, so she went to stop playing until 6.05, where she leveled Culinarian and learned the existence of pizza. Now an expertish delivery person and chef? That's not his... Am I dumb? There's no I in chef, is there? There's no I in chef. There's no I in chef, is there? Wait. No, there's no I in chef. No, you just can't spell. Now an expert delivery person and chef, she travels the whole flat world, delivering pizzas to those who request it. Even if someone decides to order it from the top of Kugane Tower. Good luck getting up there. Life is like a pizza. It can be a shitty microwavable pizza that makes you sad, or a quality oven-cooked pizza made by someone with a mustache. I love this. That's honestly great. And the only reason PC Gamer actually found out about this is because someone posted about this on Twitter. Also, this was happening on Sephiroth, which is my server, and it's cool to see. It's really cool to see stupid shit happening on Sephiroth and not all the stupid shit being relegated to Sophia, which is basically designated as the RP server. Where is the Twitter thread? Here we go. I got real bored on FFXIV, so I ordered the pizza off Party Finder. It even came with a kid's toy. I'm so fucking stoked. So, here's the website again. Yo, can I get a one kids meal combo? Sure, give me a sec. Where should I deliver it? And then they were in Old Charlion. They showed up. Wait, there is text here. I want to read it. It's pizza time. You wave to Catharsis Cutter Hero Sephiroth. So sure, okay. You have a trade here. Thank you so much. And then what they received is this is a I forgot what the minion's called. It's one of the various forms of Chocobo minions. Then you get a pizza, a drink of some sort. I'm not sure what the drink is. And then flatbread, which is your fill-in for garlic bread. And apparently other servers are doing the same thing now. So over on Crystal, someone is doing the exact same thing. Which is great. And I really love it. Oh my god. Why? Why is this a thing? Just why is this a thing? Why is FF14 such a fucking weird game? And this one you can get delivered to you with a Lala. We have the goods. What is your menu? So Praetorian pizza pie. That is such a low resolution dish. 6,000 gil. Toppings are 100 each. Bacon, extra cheese, sausage, pepper, onion, pepperoni, pineapple, ham, anchovies, mac and cheese, chicken doner? I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Mushrooms and olives. The Big Girl Burger. A double patty burger with mayonnaise, a fried egg, and cheddar cheese. Side salad. We found some lettuce that tastes like ranch dressing. Wait. We found some lettuce and oh, sorry, I can't read. We found some lettuce and something that tastes like ranch dressing. I read that as some lettuce that tastes like ranch dressing. We don't really do salads. Fair enough. Yeah, lettuce, that's a solid salad. Sodas and drinks. 1,000 gil. Archon Cola, iced tea, apple juice, Mayosa's Pirogo Punch. I'm not sure what this is, but I'm guessing it's gonna kill you. And then a kid's meal for 9,000 gil. A slice of cheese pizza, apple juice, fruit slices, and a toy. You can't have a kid's meal without a toy. Wait, did the other one have a menu and I just didn't see it? I want to check now. Was there a menu? Yes, there was a menu here. Okay. Wait, was it? No, let's meet the team. Wait, I can't read. Menu. There we go. Menu. What's on the menu? Standard pizza, 10,000 gil. A simple yet elegant dish with dough made from upland flour before being thrown several times in the air. Topped off with tomatoes imported from the first. Mozzarella cheese and salt crystals from Alamigo. I never actually know how to say that. The crust is crispy from being thrown in a wood fire oven, with the wood being that of El Malumba. Wow, this is seriously going hard down the RP route, isn't it? Garlic bread. 5,000 gil. Useful side dish if you ever get caught fighting vampires. Fair enough. Let's get this bread. Yeah, man, let's get this bread. Oh, I guess the drink was probably bubble tea then. Bubble tea milk from Ishgard, which you spelt wrong. There's no U in Ishgard. With tapioca pearls in it. Well, generally, that's something that's going to exist inside of bubble tea, but yes, sure. Not recommended if you are lactose intolerant. Fair. Kids meal combo, 20,000 gil. You get a pizza, bubble tea, garlic bread, and a mystery toy. Whoa. Wait, does that mean they have other minions they'll give you? That's okay. You know what? That's cute. They're probably cheap minions, but hey, minions are minions. Perfect to buy for patronizing Lalafels. Just don't sue us for increasing childhood obesity. Oh my god. Man, FF14 RPers. FF14 RPers are genuinely great. Speaking of RPers, though, I was going to hold this off for next week, but I want to talk about a really weird situation that happened on Valentine's Day. So, I mentioned the Grahatia cult. Grahatia is a character you meet in A Realm Reborn. I recently ran across him. He's at the start of the Crystal Tower story. He's a cat boy, and obviously, being a cat boy, some people really like Grahatia. Some people like Grahatia so much that they make a cult revolving around Grahatia. And for some reason, that cult exists on Sephiroth. Let's see, Grahatia FC. I don't remember what the name is. Is it just called Graha? What was it called exactly? Give me 1 second. It was called Graha. FF14 Graha FC. Can you just show me the thing that I searched for? Here we go. Where is it? Search here. Free company name Graha. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted. Just do that at the start. Thank you. Here we go. Graha. It has 411 members. Yeah, I've mentioned the cult before. Honestly, it's literally half my server. Half the server I play on are these cultists. So, yeah, that's great. I love it. Anyway, they were holding an event, we'll call it. An event on Valentine's Day. Because you know what? If you're going to be a lonely person who plays video games on Valentine's Day, you might as well at least be doing something fun with your time. So, I know I sent this in the... Yeah, here we go. I sent this in the Discord for my FC. So, here we go. This is in Limsa Laminza. So, there was a big group of people. Most of these people here were members of the Graha cult, but other people were various other people around the world just doing whatever fun things they want to do. They were holding a slave auction. Now that might sound like that's not a thing that they were doing. They were holding a slave auction. I am being 100% serious right now. When I say the Graha cultists were holding a slave auction, I mean they were holding a slave auction. Basically, you could buy the time of one of the people they were selling, and they would hang out with you for a day. They would do whatever you want with them for a day. The general idea was, you're going to buy them for a date. But, look, if you're going to sell people, let's just accept what it is. Most of those people don't care about a date. There's going to be a lot of people there being like, you know what? How about you mine for me for a day? How about you do some wood cutting? I want some material, thanks. That would be lovely. And the funny thing is, right, this is how ridiculous RPers are in this game. How much some of these people were selling for. So there's someone who runs around Sephiroth called Mummy Heidelin. If you've not played FF14, Heidelin is basically a very important character, literally from the start of the game. So there is a character running around called Mummy Heidelin. They were selling themselves, and I think they ended up selling for 900,000 gil, which is a lot of money. For reference, my character that I've been playing for like a couple of months at this point, I'm not being like hardcore grinding for money. I have 3 million gil on my account, which, is still not much relative to some people. 3 million gil is roughly what it takes to buy like a bare minimum house. So like I'm in broke bitch territory, but like enough where I could buy a house if I'm happy to be broke afterwards. So yeah, they were selling people on Valentine's Day, and they were doing this for like fucking 8 hours. I show up first thing in the morning. They're there. People are using the yell chat. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I see this group of people up on the top of Aft Castle. Go and check it out. This is going on. I go, do my other things. I'm running around like doing MSQ, running dungeons, all that fun stuff. Occasionally I come back to Limsa to drop in some items at my grand company. And they're still there. They are there when I quit playing the game at night. I'm like, what the fuck you people... It was the same people running it. Like, they had a set of managers handling the event, and it's the same people. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand how RPers are so dedicated to not playing the game, but just playing the game in their own, like, weird RP way. And you know what? That's cool. If that's a thing you want to do with your time, I'm not going to tell you not to do that. I'm just going to use it as content for my podcast. That's basically how it's going to be. And the last 14 topic we have, before we move on to something else, is there is going to be a new deep dungeon coming to 14, which is great because I haven't finished any of the existing deep dungeons. I'm on my quest of going through Palace of the Dead solo for one of the rarest achievements in the game is right now on hold, just because I want to like go do Heaven's Ward and all that fun stuff. But there is going to be another deep dungeon, so now I have, right now I still have Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High. I don't think there's a third one. FF14 Deep Dungeons. Let's see. No, not specifically Palace of the Dead. Okay, yeah, there's two of them. There is Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High. And there might be a third one coming soon. And that will be really, really, really cool. I don't know what achievement you get for solo Heaven on High. You probably get one, but the title's probably not as cool. FF14 Heaven on High solo. what is the title here? It's probably nowhere near as cool because no one talks about Heaven on High. I know I don't care how to do it. Is it just what? Oh, is it just Lone Hero? A Lone Hero is nowhere near as cool. Yeah, definitely not. And that's only for the first 100 floors. Is there not? How many floors does Heaven on High have? Is it only 100? Heaven on High. Let's see. Where is it? It looks like Heaven on High actually is just 100 floors. Heaven on High. Here we go. Okay, can you like tell me? Can you just give me the number, please? Please, thank you. I'm not seeing how many floors. Okay, it is only 100 floors. There we go. It's only 100 floors, and that's probably why it's a lot less talked about, because I'm sure getting to floor 100 is considerably easier, because getting to floor 100 in Palace of the Dead isn't really that difficult. Like, sure, there's a challenge there, but like, it's not floor 200. Floor 200 is much worse. But I will work on the rest of my Palace of the Dead quest. Suffering, some other time. But moving on from 14, I want to talk a little bit about another gaming topic. Another gaming topic being Elden Ring, a game that I want to play because I am a big fan of From Software. There is a lot of From Software games I still need to play, like Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro and all of that fun stuff, and I'll get to it at some point, but Elden Ring is another game that I certainly want to play. And I just saw, prior to the recording of this, that the Elden Ring like system requirements were released, and they are certainly system requirements. So Elden Ring system requirements are here, and they're beefy. Beefy is a good way to put it. So the minimum requirements, okay? Usually when you see minimum requirements, it'll be something like, you know, you need like a fucking a RTX or GTX fucking 950 or something like that. Like a card that most people are probably gonna meet. I feel bad for anyone who still has 800 series or anything. Was it 800 series? Wait. Did we go from 7 to 900? Anyway, I feel bad for anyone with a GPU worse than a 950, but at this stage, if you're using something older than that, I don't think a lot of those cards actually get GPU driver updates. This game, though... is a little bit different. So, operating system, Windows 10, fair enough. It makes sense why you wouldn't be supporting Windows 7 or Windows 8 anymore, because those operating systems are deprecated. Next. Processor. i5 8400, Ryzen 3 3300X. So, let's see, when did those come out? The i5 8400, that is came out in the 2018. That is a 2018 CPU, and Ryzen 3300X, not 300X, 3300X is not a video from this year. Review. When do reviews come out? No, that is it 2020? Wait, when did the 3000... 2020 sounds way too recent. 3000 series. 2019. Maybe that specific one did come out in 2020. Either way. A fairly modern CPU, like, actually a fairly modern CPU. And a fairly good CPU. Like, obviously not the highest end thing that is available, but enough where that's not going to be met by a lot of people. Next, the memory. 12 gigs of RAM. Not like how, 8 gigs is enough for most systems still. Nope. 12 gig minimum. Now, I don't think this minimum is going to be the game will not boot without this, but I think their minimum is going to be like a minimum playable. Graphics. Here's where it gets even more ridiculous. A GTX 1060 or an RX 580 for the minimum specs. That is fucking crazy. I don't know of a single game besides Elden Ring that lists something that recent as a minimum. Because the 1060 is still like a really good card. It's still it's not as popular as it used to be, but I think it's still very high up in the popular cards on Steam, on like the Steam hardware survey. At one point, it was the most popular card like in the world, or the RX 580, which is slightly better than the card I have. That is a tier above my card. We'll look at benchmarks, what a 580 and a 1060 can actually do in just a moment, compared to modern cards. DX12 makes sense. You're not playing this in DX11 apparently, which is, yep. People told me when I did a video on some Windows build a while back that, oh, the games still work on DX11 though. This is not a problem. You can use DX11. Yeah, we're going to hit a point where DX12 is going to be the minimum. Like how you don't see, DirectX 9 games still being made, you're going to see DirectX 12 being the minimum. And then a Windows-compatible audio device, obviously, because it's a Windows game. Now, the recommended 10 or 11, obviously. I don't know why they have 10 or 11 there. They could have just put 10 there, and that would be the same thing as saying 10 or 11. An 8700K or a 3600X. This is the CPU that I have. My system is just under the baseline of what Elden Ring requires. It's got a better CPU, but yeah, it's basically just under the baseline. 16 gigs of RAM, a GTX 1070 or an RX Vega 56. And then the rest of it is the exact same. That is so fucking crazy. Let's see the comments, actually. Let's see what people have to say about this. If the comments will load. If the comments will load. There we go. Uh-oh, the recommended specs is my processor. You know when your hardware starts showing up in game requirements, it's time to open up the wallet again. Not even. This is just that Elden Ring has just an insanely ambitious game. These look like last-gen specs to me. I mean, seriously, my 8-year-old PC will run it. No, it literally won't. No, your 8-year-old PC literally will not run it because your 8-year-old PC is far under the specs. And probably look very smooth, decent setting. It will very a 1080 non-RTX, which is fine. A 1080 is not an 8-year-old card. What are you talking about? If you have an 8-year-old card, then you don't. If you have a 1080, you don't have an 8-year-old system. What are you talking about? A nearly 6-year-old GPU and CPU for recommended specs isn't beefy. Is it really that old? Wait. GTX 1060. And what do you mean it's not beefy? That's absolutely beefy. Without a doubt. That is... When did the reviews come out? Review... No, it's not a 2019 card. Shut up. GTX 1060 release date. When did it come out? Release date. 2016. So yeah, it's a 6-year-old card. Wow. But no, that is relative to what most games consider a minimum and a recommended. Like a minimum as a 6-year-old card is kind of crazy. I do love how there's a bunch of copium in here about how it's not like insane specs. Yeah, there's a bunch of copium in here about how this is not like insane specs, as if this person has like um never seen specs for any game ever. Like let's take another game. So what was Cyberpunk? Cyberpunk 2077 system requirements. Now, this is a interesting game because this game also ran like shit. But even in that case, here is the minimum. So, Cyberpunk 2077. This is 1080p on low. So an i5 3570K, which is like a 10-year-old CPU at this point, a 780 or a 470, 8 gigs of RAM, 3 gigs of VRAM, and then the rest of it's pretty fair. That's normal specs for a game. Not a 1060. Definitely not a 1060. I don't know, like, there are so many comments in here being like, oh, how is that beefy? I don't understand. Just stop being poor. Like, there are so many people right now who are not able to buy GPUs. And that's the other thing. That's the other reason why this is beefy. Because these are just insane specs, while GPUs are really expensive. Now, I'm not saying that Elden Ring shouldn't be made like this, and Elden Ring shouldn't have beefy specs like this. I think that's great. I think it's great that you're making a game that really pushes hardware. I don't have anything to complain about that. But holy shit, those specs are insane. And I'll probably not play it anytime soon. At least not until, like, you know, next generation of cards come out and I buy something in that class. And yeah, at some point that's going to happen. I wish I'd bought a better GPU when I originally bought my system, but back then I just didn't think I was going to be doing gaming stuff because I was in the middle of uni at the time and all that fun stuff. So we got what we got, basically. So moving on from Elden Ring, we have this. So every single online store is eventually going to shut down, and as of March 2023, which is still quite a while away, still a bit over a year away, the Nintendo Wii U and 3DS Nintendo eShop is going to be shutting down. I didn't know it was even still running. So after that point, you won't be able to use a credit card to add funds to your eShop accounts on Wii U or 3DS devices. Makes sense. On August... Okay, no, it's shutting down in stages, I guess. On August 29th, 2022, you won't be able to use eShop gift cards to add funds to your account on those devices either. So that's happening a little bit earlier. So you won't be able to use the prepaid cards, but up until... Wait, does that mean 2020... Wait, isn't... Oh, sorry, okay. Right, no, I got that backwards. So you can use credit cards up until 2022 May, and then after that, that is when the prepaid cards stop working. Then if you have any download codes, you won't be able to redeem those after late March 2023. You won't be able to use any money in your Nintendo Wallet account, assuming you've linked that to a Switch with the older Nintendo Network ID account to buy Wii U and 3DS content after March 2023. The company isn't shutting down things entirely for the Wii U and 3DS, even after late March 2023, and for the foreseeable future, it will still be possible to re-download games and DLC. Okay, so they're not shutting down the entire store just yet, just the ability to buy stuff. You'll still potentially receive software updates if anything gets updated, and enjoy online play on Wii U and Nintendo 3DS family of systems. Nintendo says, however, demos and free-to-start software won't be available after March 2023. That makes sense. It had to shut down at some point, and a system like this is never going to last. This is an area where decentralized games could thrive. Shut the fuck up. The crypto people are everywhere. where people won't have to worry about some company randomly deciding it's done giving you access to stuff, where digital games can exist more like physical games and not be at the whims of a company's servers. Have you heard of the internet? Have you heard of the internet? We don't need crypto to download games. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. There is literally no need to have decentralized bullshit Web3 nonsense to make the games still accessible. What you do is you just put the games on the internet. Fucking crazy. And you know what? Sure, Nintendo might go after people for piracy after they shut down the stores, but after they're not selling games, I don't think you can make a moral argument against piracy. Like, once it is literally impossible to buy a new 3DS or Wii U game, what possible argument can you make that pirating for those systems is a bad thing? It's the same case in something like, like, let's go further back. Let's say the NES. Is there a possible argument you can make against pirating some random, obscure NES game that the NES has been out of print for years and years now? There is no possible way that you are taking a sale away from Nintendo by not buying that game. And I think that's the exact same in this case. If the system you can't buy new content for, pirate it. It's fine. I don't have an issue with it. So this guy says, not so much could. It has already been thriving for quite some time. No need for hand-wavy Web3 aspirations. The Wii U is one of the most easily hackable modern systems. Yes, there's also homebrew stuff. Plentiful guides, pleasant, well-documented installation processes, and game torrent files as far as the eye can see. Except that's not decentralization at all, by any definition. That's piracy. No, that's literally decentralization. You have got a decentralized distribution of these games. Sure, it might be piracy, but it is decentralized. You're asking for decentralization. Let's see. Please take the time to research decentralization before erroneously comparing it to piracy. It's impossible to have rational discourse when you folk don't even bother to understand what it is you're keen on detracting. You literally don't know what the word decentralization is, and you're lecturing someone that they're comparing it with piracy. They're not directly comparing it to piracy, saying that having a decentralized distribution model is piracy. However, if you're asking for decentralization, piracy literally is that. There is not a centralized source of this distribution. It is spread out. There are multiple sources. It is literally the definition of decentralized. It's not Web3 decentralized. It's not NFT decentralized. It's not crypto decentralized, but it is decentralized, and that is what they are asking for. I interpret this as Nintendo's officially approving pirating 3DS games after March 2023. Yeah, this guy has the exact same stance as I have. It's the same way I feel about, like, PS3 as well. Actually, no, PS3, the store's still online. PS2. PSP. PSP is a good one, actually, because PSP recently shut down. PS Vita recently shut down. I don't care if you pirate PS Vita games. I genuinely don't. I really couldn't care less, because you can't buy them. I don't care about, buying on a secondhand market. Just like I don't think that you should encourage people scalping new consoles, because at the end of the day, buying that system is not giving any money whatsoever to the original manufacturer. I don't care if it exists on the secondhand market. That doesn't matter. All that matters is if the first party is selling it. If they are not selling it, it is free real estate. Some might disagree, and that's fine. I'm happy to have a discussion with if someone wants to talk to me on my live stream, something like that. But yeah, this happens, so yeah, go ham. Play 3DS games. I actually don't know what the state of... I know that Wii U emulation is actually pretty good. I don't know what the state of 3DS emulation is. I imagine it's easier than... I imagine it's fine. 3DS emulator, Citra. Okay. I don't know how performant it is. Wait, Citra... Apparently you can do it on Android now. Okay, that answers my question. It's fucking easy. That is actually mental. Jesus. Okay, maybe you need to go back and play, like, Sun and Moon or something like that. I don't know. There's plenty of 3DS games that I never got around to playing that I would certainly, love to do. Or X and Y. Actually, X and Y is one I do want to go back and play. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Yes. So, what else do we have on here? All right. So we have. Here's one quick topic. So, OBS, the software that everybody uses to record their video, just received an update. It just received the 27.2 update, which is this is the RC. That is not the one I wanted to see. 27.2 release notes. Release notes. Release candidate. Release notes. Release notes. Show me the damn release notes. Here we go. Sure, I'll look at the It's FOSS article. So, it has some extra, like, fun things added to it. All of that great stuff. Hey, look, they actually have a picture of the correct version. 9to5 Linux showed this prior to it being released. They actually used the, they used the release candidate as the actual release version and released the article early, which is kind of sketch, but it is what it is. So it's got some updates for native Wayland stuff, apparently. I don't know exactly what they are, but it doesn't actually say. It just says upgrades to Wayland. Okay. The one I care about, though, is the official Flatpak support. Right now, I'm not using the Flatpak version, but I will be probably for the live stream tomorrow and definitely for the next week of the podcast. So, Linux users will now be delighted to know that OBS Studio is now available as a Flatpak via FlatHub. Previously, the older version was available as a part of, like, the beta channel, but now the full version is available. So what this means is no longer are we dealing with shitty distros like Arch Linux packaging OBS wrong because they don't want to fix it even though someone gave them a patch for it. And it's been there for like over a year. I'm gonna trash talk the way Arch Linux handles OBS because they literally don't need to do any effort. They just need to use the patch that's already available. The problem it has is it had to require like an extra dependency and they didn't want to add that to the repos, and it is what it is. So I've been using a version from the AUR which fixes it and gives me the features, because the Arch version gets rid of things like the OBS browser, a feature that I need to stream. Like, it's a basic thing. It lets me embed, like, stream elements into my stream. It lets me embed, you know, my chat and all that fun stuff that I want to see on my stream. My alerts and other things like that. The Flatpak version is going to have all that stuff, all the stuff that's supposed to be there in OBS. It's going to have the official the official support, so I can actually log into YouTube. I can log into Restream inside of OBS, and it automatically handles dealing with the stream key, which is great. It means I don't have to go and manually set all that stuff up every time. Also, the dock is now part of the login, so I won't have that like randomly logging me out and stupid shit like that. There's some updates to hotkeys. So now there's a marker that tells you if a hotkey is already being used. Not to say that you cannot go and overlap hotkeys if you do want to. There are situations where you want to do that, but now there's some indication you are doing that. So if you want to stop it, then you actually can. So you can now capture your screen without OBS showing up at all. I thought this was just a Windows feature. Is this on the Linux version as well? If that is, I'm gonna have to go and try that out then. I'm probably gonna have a video out on OBS sometime next week. So there's improved pipewire support. So users can now expect a smoother experience with Pipewire, especially those with multi-GPU setups. Why does Pipewire not working with multi-GPU? Whatever. There's some UI improvements apparently. Similar to Photoshop's layer. This one. Similar to Photoshop's layer blending, there are now blend modes. You can actually blend layers together. So you can have like a darkened layer and things like that, which I think is pretty damn cool. I don't know what I'll use it for, but it's certainly nice to have as an option. Twitch streamers can now notice the Twitch panels toggle between dark and light modes depending on OBS's theme, which is cool. Also, panels are a thing now. The docs menu now has a dedicated space in the menu bar. It was previously available as a sub-menu under the view option. Also, there are some improvements to the Linux version. So window capture shows the list of all windows alphabetically. Okay, makes sense. I guess is an improvement. I don't really care about that. An audio monitoring bug that significantly caused significant latency has been fixed. Really good to see. I don't use audio monitoring, but like if I was going to do audio monitoring, I'd do it on hardware, but that's cool to see as well. Modifying properties of video capture device no longer crashes. Fuck yes. Okay, so I did notice that sometimes OBS was not happy about you touching video capture devices. That's good. I'm happy to see it. Fix for certain window managers that didn't allow projectors to be resized. I don't use projectors. I think that's when you pop out the OBS capture window from the rest of the OBS window. And there's been some performance and bug fixes for the X11 window system. Also really cool to see. Yeah, I'm happy to see it. It looks like they've improved some stuff. And I'm going to be using it because there's no reason not to be using it. It's just OBS and better OBS. The flat pack, I noticed flat packs in my system tend to take a little bit of extra time to open up, but it's nothing that major where I really need to worry about it. Now, let's talk about NFTs again, because this is a Fortnite. This is a Final Fantasy 14 and an NFT podcast at this point, and it's just how it's gonna be. So, MTG DAO. MTG DAO is a project run by some of the dumbest people I have ever seen. This is basically a Magic the Gathering NFT format game. It doesn't really matter exactly how the system works. And they did not have Wizards of the Coast permission to do that. Because why would they? Why would Wizards of the Coast give them permission to do that? So, they got a fairly kind letter from Wizards of the Coast, to be honest, considering it is Wizards of the Coast, and they don't have the kindest history. Wizards of the Coast LLC, Magic the Gathering property. Dear Madam or Sir, we are counsel for Wizards of the Coast LLC. The owner, as you obviously know, there's a bit of snarkiness in here. As you obviously know of the copyrights and trademarks for the Magic the Gathering trading card game. We write because Wizards recently became aware of your white paper describing a potential MTG DAO project that would combine a cryptocurrency and NFT technology to create a new scarce Magic format for playing a game of Magic the Gathering. Your enthusiasm for Magic the Gathering is evident and appreciated. The team at Wizards is also impressed by the work you have put into developing a new format for playing Magic the Gathering. Unfortunately, your intended use of Wizards' intellectual property, including its trademark and copyright, would be unlawful. And that's true, because you're just straight up taking their IP and then probably making some money off it. They haven't gotten far enough to actually make money on it, because Wizards caught them early enough. You appear to be operating under the mistaken assumption that the project would be legal because you would allow the reproduction of Magic cards in the form of NFTs only by a player who had purchased a physical card, a card on Arena, or a card on MTG Go. This is not correct. It is an exclusive copy. It is the exclusive right of the copyright owner to reproduce copyrighted work, such as a magic card, in any format in any format. While there is an exception in the copyright statute for making a backup or archival copy in some circumstances, this is true in the case of backing up Blu-rays and pirating games, or not pirate, backing up, like if you own a physical medium and then you have an ISO of a game, there is certainly legal precedent to say that is okay. So while there is an exception in the copyright statute for making a backup or archival copy in some circumstances, this privilege extends only to computer programs and not other types of work. I didn't know it was only computer programs, but yeah, sure. See, for example, the US Copyright Office FAQ on copyright and digital files here. While Wizards is currently evaluating its future plans regarding NFTs and the Magic the Gathering cards, no decision has been made at this time. Use of NFTs in connection with Wizards' intellectual property is therefore strictly prohibited. As a fan of the Magic the Gathering, we trust you understand Wizards' need to protect its intellectual property, although Wizards is continuously amazed at its community's creativity and engagement. They have to protect their IP if they want to keep the lights on. On behalf of Wizards, we therefore ask that you refrain from implementing your idea for a MTG DAO community that relies on the unlawful reproduction and use of Wizards' IP. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any further questions or wish to discuss this further. Now, you would think they would post this online as like a way to apologize for straight up creating a thing where they're going to unlawfully use someone else's IP. But no, this is the crypto space, and in the crypto space, traditional laws do not exist. And there is this stupid fucking level of entitlement I'm seeing with a lot of crypto projects pretty much as of late. This is not the only one, but this is the most recent one. Wizards of the Coast sent a very polite email saying they consider our use of NFTs as described in the MTG DAO white paper to be unlawful IP infringement. They hint at their own NFT plans and ask that we don't launch MTG DAO. Here's why Wizards of the Coast is not going to make it. Firstly, they didn't hint at it. They just said, we are considering what our future with NFTs are going to be. That means they are considering what their future is going to be. That's all they said. Our vision for MTG DAO is similar to a local game store. Here we would host tournaments, fund writers, and sponsor players. A DAO is the primary community building tool of Web3. To forbid an MTG DAO, Magic DAO is to forbid any authentic presence in Web3. Not gonna make it. No. Now, the issue isn't having a decentralized organization. That's not the problem whatsoever. And yes, you'd be right if all you were doing was hosting some sort of online magic tournament, online magic, magic shop, for example. That wouldn't be the case. But what you are doing is taking that IP, changing it into a slightly different form, and then trying to profit off of that different form. That is directly infringing on their IP. MTG DAO NFTs are a protocol tool used to track card scarcity across MTG DAO tournaments. Web3 tools like tokens, wallets, DAOs, and NFTs are the building blocks of a safer, more secure, more interactive internet. No, they're not. Shut the fuck up. A more interactive internet. What does that even mean? Banning any use of community-created NFTs related to Magic is like banning any other group technologies outright. It is unfairly discriminating against Web3 tech and Web3 communities. And you know what? You are right. They are discriminating. They are discriminating against people who want to infringe on their IP. They are not saying that this tech is bad or anything like that. They're not saying that. They are saying that you do not get to use that because you are not the owner of the IP. They, if they want to make NFTs, all of this fun stuff, they are free to do that. That is something they can do. You do not own the IP, and you cannot do that. So as Web3 becomes more popular, as it gets mocked more, this attitude will not age well. Wizards of the Coast are digging their heels into the old world. Internet culture moves quickly, and Wizards of the Coast is solidifying their position as dinosaurs on the brink of extinction. Catching up will only become harder. Now, for the record, they are calling them dinosaurs while they have 180 followers on Twitter. Now, followers on Twitter does not necessarily mean how profitable you are, but I don't think you're in any position to say that someone isn't profitable when you literally have no presence online. I have more presence online, like just on my Twitter. Gamers have only experienced game economies intentionally designed to extract maximum value from the players, convoluted and opaque, so players can experience a suspension of disbelief around how their value is extracted. Are you against NFTs now? It sounds like you're against NFTs. It sounds like you're against the idea of using these tokens that don't represent real dollars to buy things in your game. What is the difference between the game token? Let's call it the game token. You buy the game token with the US dollar, and this is the game token that exists on the developer's servers. How is that any less obfuscated, any less convoluted, opaque, whatever word you want to use, than you buy the MTG DAO token with the US dollar, and then you interact with the MTG DAO system through that token? It's the exact same system, now you've just added in a blockchain and made it more confusing. The standard formula is to create a fantasy world where players feel immersed and can feel that in-game assets have qualities like scarcity and value. But over time, through mechanisms like nerfing, power creep, and printing in-game currencies, every player will see their invested value be devalued for profit. Magic, the Gathering, and any card game is not an investment. And not everything out there needs to be an investment. Sometimes it's fine to spend money on something, and then the money is spent. That's okay. I don't need the pizza I buy from the local pizza store to be an investment. I just want a pizza. I don't need my deck of trading cards to be an investment. I just want a deck of trading cards. And of course, things like nerfing, power creep, and printing in-game currencies have to exist. This is the way you have a functioning game. If you don't have nerfing and power creep, like, are you saying that every card should be the same? If you're going to have any cards that are different, you have to have nerfing and power creep, because nerfing happens when things are power crept, and power creep happens, or power creeping happens when you have cards that aren't really as strong as people expect them to be. These are things that you have to have in a game, otherwise you don't have a functioning game. So whether consciously or subconsciously, gamers have learned to avoid and detest anything resembling economies in their games. No, they haven't. They're fine with economies. They don't like real-world economies. So loot boxes, microtransactions, in-game currencies, no one cares about in-game currencies. What are you talking about? And now NFTs are added to this list. Is there a single person who doesn't like in-game currencies? Like, is there a single person who you'll find, you go play like an MMO, and they will say, I don't like how there's gil in Final Fantasy XIV. I wish that the only way to get items was for the items to drop. Will you find anyone in RuneScape who's like, I don't like that gold is a currency? Or, wow, is currency gold? Probably gold. Like, no, in-game currencies are fine. You've just added in-game currencies to this list of real-world transactions, and you're pretending like all of these are the exact same thing. They're not, and stop doing that. What is not popular? It's this one. This is the go-to for every single crypto bro when someone calls them out for their bullshit. Always say, you don't understand it. What is not popularly understood yet is that crypto can give players the ability to choose games with transparent, fully known, and pre-programmed economies. They can know the rules ahead of time about how and where value can flow and be cashed out. Why do you need a blockchain to have documentation Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. And what do you mean pre-programmed economies? Are you saying that with with a traditional game system, like having a natural economy is a bad thing? What do you mean pre-programmed economies? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it seems like you're just throwing in words here to make it seem like you are making some sort of point when it doesn't make any sense. Developers become participants in the economy instead of pulling strings behind the curtain to gain trust and then exploit it. You don't want developers directly influencing the economy. Why do you want developers rigging the markets? No, you don't want that. That is a bad thing. You want there to be a natural market that flows based on player and character interaction. And I thought that's what the NFT thing was supposed to be. Are you saying that you can use NFTs and then, like, cap prices? Because if you do that, you don't need NFTs to do that anyway. You can just set a price. Let's see. All this doesn't mean Wizard of the Coast can't make profit in this new paradigm. I think creating an economy that respects users' value would be wildly profitable for Wizard of the Coast. It just requires them to think beyond their current business models and become participants in a decentralized ecosystem. There are plenty of transparent ways for Wizard of the Coast to profit from a project like MTG DAO. They could negotiate a percentage of the initial token distribution or simply charge users to have their software interact directly with user wallets and NFTs. Or, how about this as a third option? They could say, fuck you, and do it themselves if they want to. Why do you think that they are going to bring you into this project just because you were the first one to try to steal their IP? Why would they do that? They can just sue you into oblivion and build what you were going to do anyway. They're free to do that because it's their IP and they control it. I think this person is of the mindset that if it exists on the internet, then it's just free game. It's sort of the same way that, okay, here's one thing that a lot of people don't want to really talk about. The idea of, what's the word? Like fan art. Technically, if you're making fan art of a game, of a character, that fan art is the IP of that company. And Nintendo and companies like that have gotten really touchy about that. It's the exact same thing with, like, game mods. You can make a game mod, but that game mod is the IP of the developers of the game. Just because it exists on the internet does not mean that you're free to go and use it. Now, there are situations where there is a beneficial relationship from that. For example, with game mods. Sure, every game developer out there could start suing game developers, and some actually have done that in the case of, like, Take-Two, with the whole, it was an engine rewrite of San Andreas or something like that. And that has happened. And there's been there was a console hacker for the Nintendo Switch called Gary Bowser, which I initially read as Gay Bowser, which honestly would have made the name funnier, who recently got in trouble with Nintendo. But same thing with fan art. Like, fan art, companies realize is a beneficial thing. There's no value they get from going after artists trying to promote their game for free. It's the same thing with YouTubers playing a game or anything like that. There is a beneficial relationship that can exist, but when your entire business is based on someone else's IP, there is always the sort of Damocles hanging over your head, and at any point, that can be dropped on you. As fans of Magic, we want Wizard of the Coast to win, but we are learning to expect more from our games. If Wizards of the Coast can't adapt, players will move fast to other crypto TCGs, and sadly, Wizards of the Coast will not going to make it. No, they won't. No, Magic's not going anywhere. It's got a digital format. That's all it needs. Like, sure, if Magic was just still a physical card game, you'd be onto something, but Magic has digital systems. Like, you can play Magic online. I right now could go and play Magic with someone in Russia, and that's fine. Presuming it's not banned in Russia. I don't think it's banned in Russia. But you get the point. I could go and play Magic with someone in the US, and that's fine. We're all playing under the same rules, playing on the same system, all of that fun stuff. To members of MTG DAO, there's 180 of you. What are you talking about? I don't know exactly where we go from here. You stop before you get sued. Wizard's position seems reactionary, but I don't currently know enough about copyright law to be confident about how a court would interpret this situation. They would look at your case, and they would kick you out. And they would slap you with a giant, giant fee. They would make you pay all of the court fees for Wizard of the Coast, and you would then have to pay damages as well. That is how that would go down. I plan on responding to their email, getting clarification, and trying to help them see, like, MTG DAO and Web3 in general as an opportunity and not a threat. It is an opportunity, just not for you. My primary motivation continues to be combining my two passions, Web3 and Magic. In ways a community is excited to engage with. This isn't the end of MTG DAO. No, it is. It is the end. Or you're gonna get sued. I think the Web3 community has a lot to bring to the game. If Wizards can be open-minded about us, wish us luck. Why would you think NFTs make a game safer, more secure, and interactive? Web3. You're going to get sued and lose so much money. Yes. Yes. I love the last comment here. Fuck you. True. True, though. There was one in here that had, like, 81 replies to it. Here we go. You launched a DAO around a copyrighted IP without consulting a copyright lawyer first. Yeah, that's the fun thing. He just didn't, he didn't know about copyright. It's just like, well, clearly this is fine to do. This is roughly the baseline level of competence in the crypto/NFT blockchain culture, yes. They celebrate the feckless wins and minimize the consequences. It seems like they operate under the philosophy of it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, because once it's on the blockchain, there's no take-backsies or whatever. Yes. If you don't know that copyright law exists, you already know enough to determine that no court of law will look favorably on you. What you mean to say is that you don't know enough about copyright law to make an argument in your own favor, much less a convincing one, and even less a convincing one to someone who actually knows their way around copyright law. So you're making this big project 100% reliant on someone else's IP and don't even understand copyright law enough to know whether what you're doing is legal. Lamau, crypto bros are hilarious. But this happened at this happened with another project. Not the exact same thing. This one was regarding music. And I only found out about this because I believe Amelie replied to it. And she was very angry that her music was on here. NFT music stream. Here we go. So this is basically a music platform around NFTs. Because, of course it is. So they put out this this big apology here. Big apology, big thing saying like, you know what? If you don't like the fact that your music is on our platform, then send us a message, and then we'll try to make sure this the music is taken down and all that fun stuff. It's basically the exact same thing, and the funny thing about it, so the reason why these guys thought their project was fine, someone left it in the comments here. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Oh, here's the reply from Amelie. We shouldn't have to email you to remove music you illegally stole. You need to ask permission first. Remove all the songs you uploaded without legal consent from the artists who own them. You don't have my permission for my music either. Remove my music from your website. Amelie, if you don't know, is... I don't particularly like her music. She's one of the big anime cover artists. I think her initial big song was like the initial Sword Art Online opening. So she's been around for quite a while. Like, she did that, like, not long after SAO actually came out. Also, they're blocking musicians who ask them to take their music down, which is also good. I can't find the exact thing here, but basically, the reason why they thought it was okay, it might be in my history, actually. Is it in my history? I don't think I'm gonna be able to... Is this it? Wait, this isn't it, is it? This sort of briefly mentions on what's actually going on. A statement will be released soon, as I think a lot of people are missing the point of the project. Firstly, we are not profited anyway from musicians and artists. In fact, we have lost money as we pay YouTube Music, not to be confused with YouTube directly. Now, they don't actually pay YouTube Music. That's not what they do. They pay for a YouTube Music subscription. They pay the same subscription that anybody else out there is able to purchase. They didn't buy a redistribution license or anything like that. They just bought a regular license that you and I can buy so they can play the music for themselves. That license does not give them the right to redistribute. This is what I mean. NFT bros do not understand how the law works. Sure, there are some that do, but there are so many fucking morons out there who keep trying to make these projects where they don't even have the basic understanding of the law and don't even have a remote understanding of what they are doing that is at all wrong. And then get confused when people call them out on their bullshit. It's like, what is even going on? Honestly, there's slight times where I feel like just making an NFT channel and then just ranting about NFTs all the time because honestly, it'd be easy. It would be very, 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 very easy. But I've got enough channels on my plate anyway. So I think that's going to be basically it for us today, actually. I think so. I'll check the actual link to the podcast. Yeah, looks like it. Maybe I should actually have like a timer on my screen so I can work out how long I should be recording for. Recording in blocks like this is it has some issues in that regard. But yeah, next week we are probably going to have a guest. I've been talking a bit more to Donald Fury, who I've had on the podcast plenty of times in the past before. He wants to come back on. I want him to be back on the show. He's a fun guest to talk with and all that fun stuff. Also, it fits with the theme of what we've been doing. He's been playing 14, so you know what? We might just talk about 14 for an entire episode. I have no confirmation of this, but hey, it might happen. We'll see what happens. Yeah, check it out then, I guess. So yeah, that's going to be basically it for me. It has gotten really hot in this room over the past 2 hours, and my face probably looked really shiny. And I didn't address the hair the entire episode, so yeah, I got a haircut, I guess. So like, there, fun. Yeah, I didn't want to talk about it because I know the second I mention the hair, there's going to be a bunch of comments about the hair because they're hair comments on the main channel as well, and they're going to be there for quite a while because it happens every time anything happens with my hair, because everyone's fucking obsessed with my hair apparently. Anyway, if I shave the beard, it's going to be much worse. Absolutely, no doubt. So, if you like the podcast, remember to go and like the podcast and go join the Patreon if you really like it and you want to support the work I do and my ranting about NFTs and all that fun stuff and my 14 sub, I guess. Want to pay my 14 sub? I'll appreciate it. It'll be great. But seriously, no, I've been looking seriously at the lens I want to buy, and I found a good deal on it, so I might go and buy it, and we'll have a different look, and all that fun stuff. Yeah, so main channel, Brody Robson, do Linux stuff. Gaming channel, we're still playing through Hollow Knight, and we are also playing through Needy Streamer Overload. I don't know how long the game is. We might be finished with it by the time you see this, or we might not be. I don't know. When we're done with that, though, Kingdom Hearts 2 is probably the next game on the chopping block. It might not be, but it probably is at the at this stage. Yeah. Podcast is available as an audio release anywhere you can find podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, all that fun stuff. Video release is on YouTube and Odyssey. It comes out generally later on Odyssey because I'm lazy and Odyssey is a dead platform at this point. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. So, I'm out.